A warm welcome to you all, everyone. I'm Juhi Sharma, and I'm one of the organizing members of the Global Mental Health for All. I would like to welcome each one of you to this first ever virtual Global Mental Health Festival as a part of its global campaign, hashtag Mental Health for All, presented by the World Federation for Mental Health to celebrate this year's World Mental Health Day 2020. It's a 45-day long campaign is in efforts with partner organizations, World Health Organization, WHO, and United for Global Mental Health, and it's powered by two leading spaces in the field of mental health, Srijog and Youth for Mental Health. The three-day festival is in association with GMH at the rate Harvard, the Antidote, and VH1. We are really excited and thrilled to have Kamla Bhasin ji today with all of us, who's been a leading pioneer and feminist in the area of empowering women. I will just take a minute and I will quickly introduce her. Kamla ji is a social scientist. She's a feminist activist, currently working with Sangat, a feminist network, as an advisor, as well as Jagori, a women's resource and training center, and Jagori Rural Charitable Trust as an active member. She is the South Asia coordinator of 1 Billion Rising, a global campaign to end violence against girls and women. She is also the co-chair of Peace Women Across the Globe, member of South Asian for Human Rights. She's written extensively on gender, women empowerment, and sustainability, among various other topics. She envisions a South Asia that is democratic and pluralist. Right. So over to you, Kamla ji. It's truly an honor to have you here with us. And we are so grateful that you could, add value to this campaign. And over to you, and go ahead and have a super duper rock star session.
Thank you, Juhi, and feminist greetings from Delhi, India, to everybody. I feel deeply honored to be invited to speak at the Global Festival of Mental Health around 10th October, which is the Global Mental Health Day. Friends, I wish to salute each and every person who was, is, and will be part of this World Federation of Mental Health. This federation is old, but 2 years younger than me. I was born in 46. This federation was born in 1948. I find it amazing that 72 years ago, there were visionaries like the ones who started it. They must have been really people who were compassionate, who were passionate about mental health, and who were global citizens. Mental Health Day is also being celebrated since the 10th of October, 1992, 28 years. I'm really, once again, I salute everybody involved with it. This day brings us together across national borders and boundaries. It connects all of us. This day strengthens our solidarity, our resolve to ensure mental health for all. I'm here basically to express my admiration for your efforts and to show and promise my solidarity for the remaining years of my physical existence on this planet. Somebody can ask me, but Kamlaji, why are you speaking? I mean, who are you? Very valid question. I am not a mental health expert. I am a 74-year-old woman, a mother whose 27-year-old daughter suffered from clinical depression, and in her first attempt succeeded in committing suicide as she was doing a PhD at Balliol College, Oxford. a vibrant, successful, creative woman gone in a minute. I'm here speaking as yet again a mother, as a 40-year-old son who has cerebral palsy, who is quadriplegic, who has no motor function, no head control, and no speech. He lives with me. He was completely healthy at birth until 7 months when we gave him a vaccination for diphtheria, pertussis, and tetanus. And that is what completely destroyed his mind, his brain, and his body. No doctor, either in Delhi or in London, where we took him for a month, would admit that it could have been the vaccination. But I know millions of mothers all over the world who know what vaccines can sometimes do. Who am I? Why am I speaking? I'm the wife of a man who suffered from bipolar condition for 40 years, and I spent 35 of those 40 years of his life. I can go on and tell you about many others in my life, but I think the point is made. We feminists say the personal is the political. So I started with my personal to show you my perspective, my passion, and my compassion. Besides having experienced the pain of mental illness through people closest to me in my life, I also know the terrible lack of understanding people have about mental health and illness. I know the stigma around mental illness. But I also know that in the last 20, 30 years, things have been improving thanks to the efforts of people working on mental health all over the world. Most of all, friends, I know the total lack of services for mental health for the non-rich. We have successful experiments and models created in Kerala by an amazing psychiatrist, Dr. Manoj Kumar. But will it ever be upscaled? Will our governments, corporate hospitals ever replicate the model, the community, the family model of Dr. Manoj Kumar? We have amazing psychiatrists like Vikram Patel, whose work and whose book, Where There Is No Psychiatrist, again experimenting. But when will our governments bet on that? When will our private hospitals bet on that? And how many people today in India, for example, can afford treatment for mental health? Private mental health is inaccessible, as I said, for 90% of our people. 66% of Indians live in the rural areas, and 95% of experts for mental health sit in the urban areas. Friends, therefore, I fully endorse and support the theme this year on the Mental Health Day, Mental Health for All, greater investment and greater access. Mental health for all, comprehensive health for all. Mental health should be, I believe, like you, a non-negotiable right. It should be a reality for all. Yeah, as a slogan, it's very good. A good dream. But I believe the present economic paradigm will not, cannot allow health for all, forget about mental health for all. The present political regimes many of which are democratic only in form, but not in spirit, not in reality, do not allow health for all. You've just seen what is happening in USA, the so-called richest country of the world, and what has COVID done there because of private health system. And friends, the present hierarchies of patriarchy, where women are kept down, the hierarchies of race, where Black lives do not matter, the hierarchy of caste, class, heteronormativity, religion, will these allow mental health for all, human rights for all? I'm happy to see that the Federation is aware of these issues, because I have noted that you have sub-themes in this event on mental health and marginality, gender and mental health, diversity and mental health. I hope the issues I'm raising here will be discussed. Friends, I believe to have mental health for all, we need to do the same things which we have to do to fight the climate crisis. The two things are so similar. If we want mental health for all, we need to have a philosophy which is based on the ancient Indian saying, Vasudeva Kutumbakam. The whole world is a family. We need to believe in the African Ubuntu, which says, I am because you are. We are interconnected, interrelated, interdependent. The obsession with I, me, mine, myself will have to go. We need now to think of we, us, ours, and ourselves. Friends, today our problems are global. Therefore, our solutions have to be global. And yet again, congratulations to the World Federation. This is what we need. Our approach has to be ecological, intersectional, inclusive, holistic, and as Mahatma Gandhi said, focused on the most marginalized, not on the most rich and resourceful. Friends, I believe a profit-based, or more honestly speaking, a greed-based economic paradigm and system cannot and will not allow mental health for all. As long as healthcare is a commodity to be bought and sold, as long as healthcare is privatized, there will be no mental health for all. Let's not fool ourselves. The corporations who control health systems and pharmaceuticals have that Midas. You remember that King Midas? Mm-hmm. So they have that mentality. King Midas loved money, loved gold. And he got this boon, whatever he will touch will become gold. He was very happy. He touched so many things, and then he was thirsty. He touched water, became gold. He touched food, became gold. And then came his daughter running to him. He touched her, and she turned into a statue. Today, there is not just one King Midas. There are thousands of Midas heading corporations, heading expensive hospitals, heading our governments. These Midas, they touch agriculture, it becomes poisonous. They touch food to make money, it becomes junk food. For profit, they produce cigarettes, pornography, violent games, all for money. In this paradigm about which I'm talking, you know what Mother Nature is called? natural resource. She's just a resource. Exploit her, use her, and destroy her to such an extent that teenagers like Greta Thunberg of Sweden has to lecture our leaders, but they don't listen to her. Their ears are stuffed with dollars. In this paradigm, we call human beings not human beings. We call them human resources, which can be hired and fired. So who cares for their mental health? These human resources can be given visas when rich countries need them, or they can be walled out through big walls created by the richest country of the world. And you know, Juhi, what our friendships and relationships like your and mine is called in paradigm? It's called social capital.
Yeah.
You and I are not friends, it's social capital. So Midas poison everywhere. Cutthroat competition, unemployment now, particularly because of COVID-19, stress, anxiety, isolation, social exclusion, being turned out and leading to the epidemic of mental health, which we have in the world. And then some mental health experts, they have programs for corporations, corporates. This corporates go on and we have mental health programs. This reminded me of a story. There was a small factory set up, and within 10 days, 15 days, people found out that every day the workers in the factory were losing their limbs. Every day, 2-3 workers. The factory owner set up a committee, and the committee decided, yes, it is true. The factory is made in such a way that it destroys the limbs of 2 or 3 people. So we suggest that a hospital is opened. So the factory goes on producing limbless people. We start a hospital. Nobody said, let's stop these machines, let's stop this factory and see what is wrong. And this is what I feel most of us are doing today. We do not stop that system which is producing this, and we do this so that everybody makes money. The factory makes money and the hospital makes money. So friends, I believe mental health for all can be achieved only, one, if we live in harmony with nature. 2, if we look after the needs of all, rather than the greed of a few. This is again what Mahatma Gandhi said. Mental health for all will be there if we go beyond the individual and talk of the community, the family model. If we have cooperation, not this cutthroat competition. Mental health for all is possible when we have human rights for all, democracy for all, when we have a community approach to health and mental health, when we have a holistic approach. Friends, finally, mental health for all will be possible when all of us say, not love of power. Love of power means love of money, love of controlling resources, love of dominating people. Not love of power, power of love, power of compassion, power of togetherness. This is my approach to feminism. This is my approach to mental health for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Kamla ji, for those powerful, powerful words. And I think I personally, as a woman and as somebody who's also working for the underserved, could resonate so much at multiple levels. And your work, which is your work experience, which is probably, like, I mean, there's just so much rich experience that you've had, and you've done the kind of work that you've done for the vulnerable and for the marginalized population and all. I still remember that line of yours that, passing the torch, so thank you for gracing us and talking about mental health inclusivity at such a wide lens. I have few questions for you, and I'm going to, yeah, because I was very, very, excited to ask you about some of the questions that I was thinking while you were, gracing us with the words. What do you think has been the most difficult thing to tackle when it comes to feminism, in your decades of experience? And you've seen it changing decade by decade, So what would be, the most difficult thing that you've been tackling or battling, and it still continues to come across?
Well, first of all, I feel my experience has been that if you take time and if you talk to people one to one, if you listen to them, people listen to you. So I've never had those difficulties. Even men, they listen to you if you talk to them one to one. But the problems are, Juhi, that patriarchy is everywhere. And the most difficult thing about being a feminist is to recognize patriarchy inside you. Patriarchy is sitting in you and me, in the way we dress, in the way we talk, in the way we get married, in the way we change our names after marriage, everything. Then patriarchy is in our religions. You just go near a religion, and you will see that every custom, even the word for God is He. So if God is He, then He is God. And the difficult thing is, and then you go into education, patriarchy is sitting there. You go into law, patriarchy is sitting there. You go into our constitution, everywhere.
Where? Yeah.
So becoming a feminist means becoming against every system. Becoming a feminist means not being able to enjoy 90% of jokes because they're all at the expense of women.
100 on 100. And I continue to battle that fight at home also. Yes.
Yeah. And then feminism is the only ideology and program which enters your bedroom. No other ideology. You can be a socialist outside your house. Inside, you can come and be a dictator. But if you are a feminist, you ask your father, Father, why am I not getting the part of the family property? Why my brother only? Father, how can you marry me off like that to a total stranger to you and me? Brother, how can you take away my share of property when the law says half of it is mine? How come you can have sex without finding out whether I have had also a good time?
Yeah.
Husband, I go to office, you go to office. Why can't you be in the kitchen as much as I am? Now, to ask these questions morning, afternoon, evening, my God, they are painful. So women give up. But I'm again really happy that globally now we have campaigns going on where men are recognizing how patriarchy is dehumanizing them, is making them violent, insensitive, unkind. And they're realizing how patriarchy puts immense pressures on them. And we have a global organization called Men Engage Alliance. And it already exists in over 100 countries. So we are slowly getting there. And whatever we have achieved, we have achieved without violence. Every other achievement has been through violence. We feminists have never burnt buses. We feminists have never burnt offices of other people. We've done it through dialogue and multilogue, and I'm proud of that. And we have done it because of global solidarity. Many of our battles were fought 150 years ago by our sisters in USA. They got the vote, we didn't have to fight for it. They fought for an 8-hour day, we didn't have to fight for it. So it is this global solidarity which actually brought me to your event today. That is what attracted me to it, that it is global, it is universal. And I have always said as a woman, I mean, following Virginia Woolf, she said, as a woman, I have no country. As a woman, the whole world is my country. So as a woman, the whole world is my country. As a woman and as an Indian, the whole world is my family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam.
All
Yeah.
right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Kamla ji. I,
My pleasure.
young audience, who looks up to you, right? Yeah. And you've been an inspiration and a role model, and we need role models like you who've had such vast experience, from a groundwork lens. And there's just so much to learn. What is that one message that you would want to share with all of us, the young adults of the country, the future generation of the country on this World Mental Health Day?
Juhi, if I haven't given any message in the last 30 minutes,
So you've given lots of messages.
exactly.
One message. Yeah.
No, I don't give messages to young people.
Yeah.
I learn from them. And I really always refuse to give this one message. You mean 30 minutes I gave no message to you, Julie?
No. No. I
My
think
message really is a message of universal love,
yeah.
compassion, togetherness, inner values, because we all know these outer goals will take us anywhere in terms of happiness. So, thank you very much, and for this honor and for this pleasure.
Thank you. I think it was really informative and a truly powerful session with Kamla Bhasin ji, and there are multiple facets to it, what she shared. And I am sure that everybody has one key takeaway to take back. And like I always say, apply back into your life. Kamla ji, people like Kamla ji are very powerful role models, and we lack those credible role models, and she's one of them. So it's been really, not ma'am, Kamla ji, an honor for all of us to have you. And I'm just so grateful that you continue to be a part of, with us, and looking forward to more such collaborations. And yeah, thank you so much for your presence. Thank you so much for sharing those words. Thank you so much for talking about the power of love, power of compassion in society, and access to mental health for one and all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.